What up, family? Welcome back. Happy Thursday. I am here with ya boy Z and Colony. How are we doing this
It
evening?
kind of feels weird that you're doing this and not me, not gonna lie.
What do you
I'm so
mean? It just flows.
I don't
It
know.
flows.
I don't know. I
I'm
didn't hear
just
that. Yo, what up, family? I just doesn't. It doesn't. I don't know. That's just
It doesn't hit. It
no.
just doesn't
I'm gonna
slap.
take over
Oh,
Venus's spot and say, "What's up? What's up?"
oh God. Oh no. I'm gonna take Colony's spot back real quick, and I'm gonna go ahead and I never go first. So you know what? Colony, why don't you bring us in on the topic tonight? Like, just bring it in.
How
You start us
dare
off.
you?
You know I never
Damn.
start off, right? Yeah.
Well, since she can't say it, guys, today's topic is all about skinwalkers and related to the skinwalkers of mythical creatures, right? So, what about skinwalkers? First of all, I want to say yate. If you guys don't know what that means, I don't even know if I said it correctly. I think that's the closest I'll get to. But it means all is good in the Navajo culture. And that is where the origin of skinwalkers come from. Navajo mythology. Skinwalkers, you guys know what a skinwalker is, right?
I wish I
Sorta, kinda.
didn't.
Z, what's a skinwalker?
I said sorta, kinda.
What is your understanding of a skinwalker?
Look, they're these beings that just like they can transform, they can mimic a voice, a cry. They can, aside from transforming into animals, they can shapeshift into a human.
That basically shapeshifters. And so a lot of people from Navajo culture or around the area that it originates from are actually very scared. I don't know if you guys know, but they're very scared of.
They don't want to talk.
They don't.
It's discouraged
They
to talk
don't
about because
exactly.
and what I find really fascinating about that is that it's discouraged to talk about specifically because it attracts them. And so you don't talk about it because you don't want to bring them around, which like
Yeah.
I feel like is logical. There's some logic to that.
And there's
you
just
know?
there's a lot of cultures that have that. Like for example, La Llorona for Mexico,
Mhm.
Bigfoot here. But like I've never seen a mythological creature that has not been more feared than that culture. Like if you actually go over there, people will refuse to talk to you if you bring that up. Like they will not talk to you at all. So I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of background. If you guys didn't know, this originated in the Four Corner area of America, which is Arizona, Utah, Colorado, and New Mexico. There's like there's a space right in the dead center, and it actually correlates with like a point right in the middle of all four locations, and it's called Ojo Amarillo, which stands for yellow eyes, also known as Skinwalker Canyon. And there's been a
Mm.
lot. You can watch a lot of documentaries. That are in like Travel Channel, Discovery, of people actually like going to these locations and
Is
trying to
Skinwalker
find.
Ranch one of those? There's
Yes,
a TV show called Skinwalker Ranch
yes,
Yeah.
about
yes,
Skinwalker
yeah,
Ranch,
and like,
and it's there in that area.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
And so for me, one, would you guys go? Would you guys go to the place?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
You're
I don't
crazy.
think that's a wise decision. No, I wouldn't claim it to be a smart choice. I'm just saying
Ye-
I would
Okay,
do it.
as long as we agree to that, then that's
I'm
fine.
good. I'm good.
Yeah, same
I'm
here.
gonna I'm gonna
Alright,
throw
solo
I'm gonna
trip.
throw
I'll report back.
skinwalkers and Ouija boards, throw it all in that little corner of never to touch.
So here's a big. So besides going there, do you guys believe in it?
I do.
I do.
I don't.
Yeah.
You don't?
I don't.
Why not?
So, no disrespect. I could be proven wrong, right? But every piece of evidence that I've seen, there's been nothing but just the middle of piece of evidence of a video. There's never been an ending to it.
True. This is true.
And
But
even in those, sorry to cut you off, but even in those videos of people looking in like expecting in Travel Channel, Discovery, like they don't even show the ending of it. And I get it for views, for suspense, stuff
Right.
like that. But there's never been like a documentary of just finish to end. If you spotted a skinwalker, I'm gonna record the whole thing, not cut it off at a certain point. Like as
Right.
TikTokers do. Like I'm not into that shit. I
No part
wanna
2.
see the
No
ending.
part 2.
I wanna
That's
see
right.
the and I've never seen it. Photoshop and video editing can be done. Obviously, there's AI. So like
Mhm.
I'm not convinced yet.
Well, you'll never see it to begin with because you're going to be the ending.
You mean to
That's
tell me
sort of
not
where
one person survived?
that's what I believe. That's what I believe. I think the vast majority, if not all, of, like, the videos or pictures are probably fake or from people who saw something that was like a coyote or whatever, a deer. But I think there are people who went missing, and they went missing because they saw the evidence, but once you're close enough to see the evidence for yourself, you're also
Gone.
the point of you're past the point of no return.
And
Yeah,
that I can
you're gone.
understand. That I understand. But you, it's so hard to say, like, out of all these years, out of how long skinwalkers have been alive
Mhm.
or talked about, or been roaming, right? There's not one piece of evidence where we've seen that to the end. You know what I mean? And from the research that I've done, the skinwalkers are summoned by witches in the canyon. They do like this form of I guess summoning to make them appear. Um and correct me if I'm wrong of any research that you guys have found, but that's for what I found. Like they would actually take animals and they would sacrifice them to summon the skinwalkers.
So I actually did find something different than that. My research, I was finding that skinwalkers in Navajo folklore were witches, but like dark witches, and they could be male or female. They were predominantly male, according to sources.
Okay.
But they I don't know if I would describe what I was researching and reading as being summoning. I was reading that they had to commit evil acts in order to acquire the power to shapeshift, and that they would
Interesting.
kill creatures that they wanted to take the form of. So if they wanted to take the form of a deer, they killed a deer. If they wanted to take a form of a cow, they killed a cow, mutilated it, right? Like, so the cow mutilations that are often found in places like Skinwalker Ranch and things like that, this is where it connects with these legends. And that they yeah, so, like, if they wanna wear your skin,
They'd have
they're
to
gonna have
kill
to kill you to
But
take
me.
it. That's right.
before all
Oh,
that, like their initiation itself is kind
It's
of
messed
wild.
up. Ooh,
Like
yeah.
to become skinwalkers, to like fully realize their powers, they have to sacrifice a sibling or a relative.
Yeah.
that's part of
Or
like
something equally
That's
heinous.
part of the initiation to
Mm.
gain skinwalker powers. Like that's
that's scary.
the fact that yeah, you have like they have to like for the amount of skinwalkers that are around, like all the siblings or relatives that they killed. Wild
Mhm.
is when you like think about it.
Well, and I was also reading that they are immortal and can, like, live for a millennia, which was a crazy thought because, like, it's one thing to kind of imagine some dangerous cryptid type creature out there, but to imagine, like, a person who chose, like, an evil path to have this power and they've been around for hundreds and thousands of years, like, that's crazy. Makes me, like, suspicious of, like, any animal I see now a little bit.
Hey, you
Right.
gotta go outside. This geese
That
don't look right,
that
bro.
deer is looking weird today. Why has he got human eyes? That's mm-mm. You
That's
ever see
so
videos where it's like a an animal has, like, weirdly human looking eyes? Like, I saw a lot of that, like, that also was associated with, like, skinwalker type
I think you brought a video today to show to the
I
fellow
did.
people.
It wasn't even and the dog wasn't even the reason I wanted to show this video. It's cool it's funny that it got brought up anyway, but it's actually the clip after the dog that I found particularly, like, creepy where I don't know, like, I I'm not sure this is like evidence of a skinwalker specifically, but is there something creepy in them woods? I vote yes. Roll the tape.
Well, guys, we got a video here for you. You determine for us if you think it's real or fake.
In this video, a man was taking his night walk and felt observed, started recording and captured something bizarre emerging from the middle of the plants.
See, like, I want that guy to just stay there. And, like,
In this
record the whole
last
thing.
video, a group of friends were walking and found a cave closed with bars and decided to record it because they heard strange noises coming from inside and what they filmed was scary.
Oh my God, what? Oh, I see it now.
Oh.
Nope.
Oh God.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
No. No.
See, and that's the thing that makes me upset. Like, why not tell somebody, go back? Obviously,
Who's
that
gonna
thing.
go back? If I am looking at a creepy cave and I see that, you can bet your ass I'm running
I don't know.
away.
Law enforcement, maybe. Like,
You want me to go walk up to it and get an ending for you, sir? No, I'm leaving. The police are also not going to take me seriously. I'm going to go to them and be like,
they got the footage.
"Officer, I found."
If you got evidence of suspicious activity,
Suspicious.
one of them being a creature, we should look into it even further. That's just me. That's
Who's
just
we? Is it you? Are you going to go in the cave and check it
okay.
out?
So listen, I'm not stupid. Like, so
Oh, okay.
if
You
there's
want someone else
danger,
to
why
do
would I
your
put the
dirty
like
work
so
for you?
law enforcement? That's why we have them. That's why I pay my taxes. So we're gonna
Oh,
send them out there.
How about you go talk to the cops about that, about creature hunting? See how
If
they
I catch
take
evidence, you
activity.
you best believe I'm going. I don't. Why would I withheld that information?
Can I come with you just to watch
Sure,
this
yeah,
conversation
yeah,
happen?
absolutely.
All right.
But
I'll
I get
film
all the
it for the
credit.
Also,
gram.
why not film it a little bit longer, see what the thing does?
No, because I
talking
don't
to
want
me?
it's gonna eat me. That's what it's gonna do.
No, like that last video that we saw. Like
Mm-mm.
That's exactly what
the-
I'm saying.
like just film it a
No.
little bit longer. Like, what's the worst that can happen?
Crazy. The worst that could happen is it could eat me and take my skin.
So-
That's the worst thing. I don't want to know what that
Look,
feels like.
sometimes you got to take one for the team, so this legit footage can actually make it out into the public for once.
If
know?
you get
True.
eaten, it won't.
How do you
This
know
is
it?
exactly
It's
why
eating
Colony
human
is the
flesh.
one
It's not going to eat your
recording, and he's-
iPhone, Venus.
Yeah, but it's gonna
It's
take
not-
you, your flesh, and it's gonna walk over to that iPhone and it's gonna chuck it in the sewer so no one ever sees it because it's been around for 1,600 years
mean,
and
yeah,
it knows
that's
a
true.
thing or three. All right. Don't underestimate. You know what? See, I think underestimating creatures like this is part of how people get nacked.
Well,
I think this is
here's the
how it
biggest
happens.
thing. So I've been looking into like not saying that I do believe it, but there is the fear of it if it is real, right? And so in Navajo ancient mythology, it's actually said that skinwalkers have the capability to cause paralysis through their vision.
Yes.
Speaking of ojo amarillo, yellow eyes. I-
Oh,
So I mean, like, so if you're gonna ask me if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna say hell no, because if the danger is there, why would I do it? But like for the people who are already there, just nut up, shut up, and take the video, bro. Like I want to
They're
see.
essentially like that monster from Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah, exactly.
And just feeds off of fear.
And
Also, I found out there's something they were talking about using ceremonial ash to protect yourself and your home.
mm.
Like that's what you use. You get ceremonial ash, and you just, I guess, put it on your doorways, your windows.
What makes it ceremonial?
I didn't get that far. I was reading through it, and all they said
I'm gonna
was
just trust
ceremonial.
this guy who's been googling shit.
Dude, I know.
Just throw ash on my
He
window.
blessed it.
Somebody
That's
asked.
how.
Yeah,
Well,
I
look,
had to look up a YouTube video.
When you think ceremonial, I mean, you gotta assume that it's gonna be with some sort of shaman or some sort of
Some sort
yeah.
of blessing. Yeah.
yeah, someone that's got medicinal powers where they
Mhm.
will, in some sort of way, make the ash actually able to protect you.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I need some ceremonial ash. If you can source me some, that would be dope.
Source you some. Don't send it to that one lady who had that weird obsession of eating ash, though.
Oh, don't send it to her.
She's a
No.
skinwalker. She's a
No.
skinwalker.
She's trying to get immune to
Oh
it, so
no.
that it doesn't work on her, and she can just be crossing thresholds left and right, okay? That's what it
If you
is.
guys don't get the
That's
reference, please go watch Weird Obsessions in our podcast found on Spotify or YouTube. Just saying. Anyways, so have you guys ever watched like any documentaries when it came to people like traveling or trying to locate?
Not at all.
a little bit. The documentary I watched actually was about treasure hunting, so a little bit different, but it took place at Blind Frog Ranch. It's on HBO. This was 40 minutes from Skinwalker Ranch. It's a piece of property that's like right in the same area. They experience all of the same like phenomena. So the show is about the people who own the land trying to get, precious minerals out of the
Mhm.
land, but while they're in the process of doing so, weird things keep happening. So it's very much part of like the storyline. But I saw a lot of strange things. There's a lot of digging and there's some boring parts, but then there's some weird stuff. So I definitely saw some things that like creeped me out. Definitely made me question what's going on out there.
So for this show that I watched it was on Travel Channel. A lot of people do find it kind of like a joke when it comes to what they do, but if you have you guys ever heard of the show Ghost Adventures by
Yes.
Zach
Heard of it,
Bagans?
yeah.
So
Zach Bagans.
so essentially with the Ghost Adventures crew, they actually traveled to what I believe was it Utah to cross to the border to Ojo Amarillo Skinwalker Canyon.
Mhm.
And there was what I do like about that show is not the fact that they go out and hunting for ghosts, but the history that they're able to bring in and like actually go out and meet the people and gain information and evidence that are from those who are revolved around that culture and not just one person. I mean they talk to many people and try to bring all the evidence together, not only from what people deal with today, but what has happened in history, right? And so this canyon, I mean, f- fucking huge, like absolutely enormous. And from the scenes that they showed, I mean, they found like dead animals that were killed in like unnatural ways.
Like cattle mutilations?
Yeah, like, and
Mhm.
so not saying that that I still believe it, but that is a point of direction that I'm looking for investigation. You know what I
Right.
mean? And to see that, I'm like, all right, there's something weird happening out there. I don't think that television crew will do that to animals. That's actually technically
Right.
illegal.
That would be
Um,
very illegal.
and and for them to go out there and do that, like set everything up that way, that's not. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I feel like that would be unnatural.
Yeah, it would be unnatural and coincidental and,
Yeah.
like, it just
Yeah,
doesn't.
so what would you chalk it up to then?
Right, like, what's the explanation then? Since you don't believe
Not enough evidence.
not enough
Not enough
evidence.
evidence. I would
It's
like to
just
see
weird.
more. So personally, I could go down there, investigate
Mhm.
myself, but there is the fear that if this shit is real, then there's no way I'm surviving. Like,
That's what I'm
absolutely not.
saying.
Absolutely not. But um I don't know. I just feel like I haven't seen enough. Not that I want people to go through that, but I don't think that there's been enough people to say I want to figure out the whole thing. I want to try to capture it from finish to end. I don't know. Why do you guys believe in
Well,
it?
yeah, because the people that know about it the most are the ones that want nothing to do with it.
True.
So like
Yeah, true. True.
they'll talk about it, sure, at
They won't.
not even all of them.
They won't.
Not
Yeah.
even all of them. Maybe a handful of them, maybe like a small percentage will talk about it. But even then, they're not going to help you find them. The only people that are going to find them are gonna have to be a little bit crazy.
And I'll tell you this, it's not so I tell myself I don't believe it, right? But there's a wondering in my head. Are they like I still question it, or is it real or not? Right? And so there was
Believe.
in that documentary where Zach Bagans was interviewing one of the local residentials there. He's the residential spoke to Zach and stated, "You do not believe in skinwalkers." And Zach replied, "I do believe in skinwalkers." And the residential said, "No, you don't." As they argue, "Yes, I do. No, you don't." The residential goes, "You don't believe in skinwalkers because if you actually did, you wouldn't be going to Skinwalker Canyon." That
Mhm.
phrase
That's
alone,
yeah.
that
That's it
phrase
right
alone
there.
got me thinking, like, holy shit, is it real or not? But there's not enough evidence for me. There's just not enough evidence. Does there have to be evidence? Probably not, but that's what makes it for me real in a sense.
Right.
So I don't know.
And there have also been like different versions of them, or
What do you mean?
you know, uh, more or less different versions of them. Like consider the Wendigo, if anyone has ever heard of that.
I have.
Which is, like, different but adjacent, like, it's very
Yes,
Explain
similar.
the
it's
Wendigo what it is for the
similar.
people that probably don't know.
It's a type of horrifying creature that needs to devour human flesh to survive harsh winters. And through another, Native American legend, there is a tale for the first ever Wendigo, as a lost hunter during a brutally cold winter. The man's intense hunger drove him to cannibalism. After
Mhm.
feasting on another human's flesh, he transformed into a crazed man beast, roaming the forest in search of more people to eat. And on top of that, there's something interesting I found in another version of the story. The first Wendigo is said to have been a warrior who made a deal with the devil in order to save his tribe. He gave up his soul and was transformed into a Wendigo. When peace ensued, there was no need for such a fearsome creature, and the warrior was banished from his tribe and forced to live as an outcast. The tale of the Wendigo comes from Algonquin Native American folklore, and the exact details vary depending on who you ask. Some people claim of the encounter say it's relative of Bigfoot, but others compare it to a werewolf. It's it's all over the place. But there are also other descriptions of Wendigo, sometimes described as a spirit rather than a physical presence. In For example, the Wendigo is believed to be an evil spirit that possesses humans. The spirit enters a person by biting him or her through their dream. The possessed person becomes cannibalistic or otherwise deranged or violent. Some people are believed to be susceptible to becoming possessed by a Wendigo, including those who are greedy or gluttonous, as well as those who are suffering from hunger or starvation. And that's, the apparently there's a weakness for them that apparently only a shaman can subdue it with silver, which makes it lean towards more the werewolf side when you think about it as
Right.
well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different ways you can go about this. Um, but at the end of the day, it's a flesh eater, just like a skinwalker,
Right.
just in the cold climate. So there's that. Um, yeah, apparently you can cut out the heart and melt it or burn it on the stake, and that is the only true way of killing it.
There's been actual like videos. um, Not that I have one currently, but
Mm.
when I was doing the research, there was a lot of videos of people like catching like deers, dogs, animals almost turning into people. If you just type in like on TikTok, Instagram, Google, wherever, skinwalker transformation, it actually shows you like things morphing in a way, or
Mhm.
the morph not complete, like the dogs having like some form of like skin of a person on its face, stuff like that. And that's what makes me wonder, like if it's real. I don't know if I don't know if I'm crazy or you're crazy. I'm both. I don't know. It just leaves me in a stump.
Yeah, I mean, Wendigos, Skinwalkers, these types of cryptids who, like, to me, like, these characteristics are, like, creatures that they want to hunt you. They want to, like, eat you, they want to harm you, and they are usually both of these creatures are described as being, like, very quick, very strong, like,
Mhm.
they're not really easy to escape or, like, deal with, so yeah, it's one of those things where, like, some of the, places that I, spent some time as a kid, were in, like, North
Where?
Carolina in those mountain ranges.
Oh.
Yeah, those are some old mountains up there, and, like, it was a small town, Asheville. It's a really cool town, though. Some people may have heard of it, but it's you're told and like, you don't go, like, out in those woods, especially at night, like, definitely at night, but even during the day, like, you're not supposed to wander around. Part of that, I'm sure, is, survival and the fact that, like, it's dangerous for human beings to go get lost in the wilderness and die of exposure, so I'm sure if you trace it back, people have probably been telling little kids for hundreds of years, "Don't wander off in the woods, something will eat you," because they
Right.
don't want their kid to wander off into the woods and pass away of exposure. So, I could see there being, like, some reasonable explanation for some of these legends, but then again, like, I heard weird stuff in those mountains, like, weird stuff.
What do you what do
Spent
you
a lot
what
of
are you saying like weird? Like what have you heard?
I've just I've never, like, seen anything, so, like, I'm not, like, a person who can, like, vouch for hard proof. All I know is I've spent a lot of time outdoors and in nature, and, I I've heard bobcats and coyotes and, all kinds of wildlife, but when I would be up in those mountains, there was a couple of times that I would, like, stay outside in the porch and read a book because the porch was enclosed, but it was just screened, like, it wasn't, like right, and, it was all, like, wilderness back there, and I would hear, like, what sounded like someone talking at one point, and that shouldn't
No
have been there
shot.
wasn't there shouldn't have been anyone around, like, it wasn't like that, it was wilderness, and, like but it would alternate because I would just that would have just made me think someone's walking around back there and talking, but it would, like, sound, like, closer, far away and sound like someone talking, and then, like, other times it would just sound like I don't know how to describe it, like weird, like, whining, screeching, but like I said, not like a bobcat, not like a coyote, like, just stuff that'll make you close your book and say, "I think I'm gonna go to bed.
I'm going
I
Yeah.
think I
inside.
don't need to be out here
Yeah, for
anymore.
real.
I think I'm good."
So a lot of
Um
so actually that that is wild. So a lot of the skinwalkers so skinwalkers have like a form of a cry, right?
Mhm.
And essentially it's from what I read, like I said, I could be wrong, misinformed, but I mean the articles that I was looking at were basically from all Navajo culture, and history, and skinwalkers have I guess have what they did is that they use the screeches of the things that they killed.
Oh, like a bad mimic,
Yeah.
like a distorted mimic?
Yeah, and I don't
That
know if
is
that's true or not.
that's how I would have described that, like a distorted variety of mimics, like, it was weird. It was like,
To
oh, that's
lure in
creepy.
their prey.
Wow, well, that didn't work on me. That didn't
Uh,
the opposite of luring me in. I said, "Nope.
you don't know, some people be like,
Mm-mm.
"I gotta
What
go
is that?
investigate this myself." Like,
What is
there are
that?"
definitely people, like anybody who does like ghost hunting, like that's basically those people. So, um,
Hell no.
There
oh,
was
this is
a
making
story I read up on a post on Reddit actually, talking about a possible Appalachian Wendigo. Uh, so the story is from a few years ago, but me and my mother remember every single detail of what happened. Uh, so when I was in 7th, 8th grade, my mom and I were driving from therapy appointment of mine. It was winter and full moon because I remember the snow glowing under the moon. It was only 6, but really dark out because, it's the middle of the winter. We're driving 55 miles per hour when this thing crosses and stops in front of us. The only way I can describe it is that it was if you combined a deer, a dog, and a human. It stood about as tall as our windshield. It had the legs of what I can describe as a deer. Its back was hunched over and walking on all fours. It had the head of a dog. Note, it didn't have ears or a dog nose, but its eyes were white and it didn't have a tail. The freakish thing about this creature was its skin. It wasn't a canine with mange or anything. It had actual human skin all the way down to its legs, too long to be dog legs. It smelt of rotting meat, and some parts of the flesh were broken up like if you would scrape your knee. It was pale white, and you could see its veins. And this thing was fast, like it stood there and just ran across the road in the blink of an eye. Me and my mom had to pull over to calm down what we both saw. Like it was for
Pull
context.
over.
Yeah,
Pull
yeah, right. That's
over.
a wild part
Those
right
are the
there. Like,
people
you
that
see that-
literally say,
Hit the
I'm gonna
gas,
research
son.
this shit. I'm telling
Yeah.
you.
And they're like, the last part for context, I live in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, where I've heard other people describe what I saw, not deer, but it was way more human than deer.
So we need to get those people like cargo pros and shit
Yeah,
like
cargo.
that. We need
You
the
know what's
evidence,
funny?
man.
More and more people do drive with like a dash cam. Like a lot of people do
Yeah.
that now. And it's often for insurance purposes because if you have video proof that like something wasn't your fault, like that's,
But at some
good as
point, you
gold.
think they're
But
bound to catch something
that's
just
what,
through stuff like
that's
that,
what I was
right?
gonna say. Yeah, exactly. Like you think we'd have a higher chance of catching stuff like this.
Or
So
are
But
they that
hopefully, in
smart?
the next like 30 to 50 years, someone's gonna find something.
someone's gonna catch it. Someone's gonna catch it. It's bound to happen.
Yeah,
You don't think so? You still don't think so? Even though you kind
I
of
wanted to. Does that make sense? I wanted to. Like, I want to believe these are real. Like,
Yeah.
somewhere that kid inside me is like, I know these monsters are real. Like, I knew they hid under my bed, but it's just like, there's no evidence to support that. That's what I go by. Like, if there's no evidence to truly support mythology, why follow it?
Yeah.
And
Hear that.
either if there was history of evidence, a historical figure, some way, shape, or form. But I feel like after knowing so much about Skinwalkers, there's just not enough from all that amount of time. Maybe it was due
Right.
to the lack of technology. Maybe it was due to the lack of human environment in a specific area to actually have more occasions that happen. Like I don't know. I don't know that information, but I want it to happen. I want there to be a Skinwalker. Not that I want to be in front of it, but I want there to be a Skinwalker. Like
You want there to be magic in the world. Yeah.
I do. But
Yeah.
it's not looking like it. That's just me. This is just me personally.
The jury's out. We'll see.
Yeah, hopefully.
In this kind of same adjacent area of similar cryptids that are shapeshifter types, we'll say, have you guys heard of changelings?
I've heard of them.
I've never heard of them. What are they?
You've never heard of them?
No, what are they?
Z, what do you know about changelings?
I don't know anything. I've just heard of them.
Oh, you've heard. Oh, okay. So you've just heard
So
of them.
what
It's
are
like
they?
for example, a little side note, real quick, before you go on to that changeling stuff. Do you guys ever play the game Until Dawn?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
That was probably like my first actual introduction to the word like Wendigo in scary terms. Like
Right, because that was part of the
monster,
game is that
humanoid monster. Yeah.
Mhm.
And
That was a fantastic game.
it was a fantastic game. So like I never really did any research on it, but it's just I've heard of things like that here and there. So but continue with your changeling.
Yeah, shout out to Until Dawn.
Buy the game now. Release that PS4.
Yeah, for real.
Remastered. No, but changelings, are an interesting legend. They're an interesting bit of lore. So this is something I've heard about through the Irish lens. There's some Irish back in my family, so like that's where I've heard of this. It is though a European origin, so it's not strictly an Irish cultural. There's changeling legends all over Europe. Um They describe a human being secretly swapped with a fairy or like a fae.
Huh?
Um, so like baby napping, like you're living in a village. The year is 1267 and you have a
Right.
baby in your little hut and you wake up one day and your baby don't look right. Your baby don't act
That's
right.
called
Your baby's
kidnapping.
weird. That's called swapping. Yes. So a changeling is what people would call this. They would say, "This isn't my baby. This is something else. The fae must have come in, snuck in the night, and swapped my baby for this fae baby." It was oftentimes like a fae baby, maybe like a sickly one. But other times, it varied, and most often it happened to children. Like babies were what was swapped. Um, and like I said, usually with a fey child. However, sometimes there was reports of it being an elder fey, like a really old fairy. And it was said that they did that so that the parents of the baby would coddle and care for the elder fey. And I was like, that like made me stop. I was like, yo, is that like a retirement
Damn.
plan? Is that like a retirement situation? That's how they deal with their old
That's
people in the Fae
stupid.
community. They make the human parents care for it, like coddle it like a baby. Like, man, that's diabolical. It's brilliant, but it's diabolical.
Brilliant. No.
Yeah.
No. Brilliant for who?
So for the Fae, it's a solution. Oh my god. No, but like it could also happen to adults. Like adult human beings were sometimes reported to be swapped with a changeling. And I thought this was an interesting case actually that I came across. That it was like a specific case, right? Cuz like when we're talking about the paranormal, the cryptids and stuff like we're saying we rarely get, and this isn't proof per se, but we rarely get any verifiable reports or anything that's really concrete. Stories are just kind of word of mouth, right? This case happened in 1895 in Ireland, and this was the murder of Bridget Cleary. Bridget Cleary was a woman living in Ireland in 1895. She was married to Michael Cleary, and she got sick one day. She started to have bronchitis. That's what the local doctor diagnosed her with. And some weeks went by, and she wasn't getting better. And like, it said she was like nearing her deathbed. Like, and at first I was like, well, it's bronchitis. But then I'm like, okay, well, it is 1895. We die of a lot of things in 1895 that we maybe wouldn't die from today. So Bridget is not doing very well. Her husband, Michael, starts to tell friends, family, the people that have gathered in their home while she's been sick, he starts to say to them, that's not Bridget. That's not Bridget. That's a changeling. That's a changeling.
I
And
would throw hands right there. If anybody were if anybody were just accused of, and if I look at that person and I agree with them, I'm like, no imposter in my home, sir. Mm-mm.
yeah, it's surprising, but everybody believed him. There were people that were watching him get belligerent with Bridget, threatening her, but because he didn't think it was her. So he was demanding his wife back. He said, "Give me my wife back. Give me
But was it
my
really
wife
her?
back." Well, I guess we'll never know because what happened was he ended up like beating her and then burning her body. He murdered her. And
Yo.
it was in front of 10 witnesses. There were 10 people in that house that watched, and none of them stopped him because they all believed him that she was a changeling. Now I should add one detail to the changeling lore is that it is said to get your child back or your adult, whoever your human is that you want back, One of the ways to do that is either to make the Fae baby laugh or face swap, whatever, or torture them, which I thought was odd. Those are two very different options. Make them
Yeah,
laugh or torture
very
them.
polarizing.
What
the
the
different
fuck?
like,
I did also unfortunately read that this belief did lead to verifiable cases of child abuse. So people torturing a child in the belief that it would bring their real child
Why
back.
not do option
So,
one? Make the baby
cool.
like.
Make the baby laugh.
Why do
Maybe
you
they
have
tried
to?
it. Maybe they didn't thought it worked.
You
I
didn't
don't
think
know.
of like a little boo, like you know, you know what I mean?
Try a little peekaboo.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh my
So
god.
poor
that is
Miss
That
Bridget.
is a 360 turn.
Yeah, poor Miss Bridget, her body was burned. Now Michael came up on charges, okay? Like there was a trial
Good.
for this murder. It was right? But it was interesting because the 10 witnesses that were in the room when he did this, they were all charged with a charge in Ireland at the time called wounded, meaning they had participated in the harm of someone in
No shot.
a way, but it was like a lesser charge to kind of TLDR what that really meant. And the reason that that was given on those 10 witnesses is the court reported that due to all the testimony of those witnesses and Michael and everybody, those people genuinely believed that they were trying to get Bridget back / help Bridget. So in their mind, they weren't intending to commit the murder of Bridget, if that makes sense. So
Of
that's
course
like
not.
saying
Of course
manslaughter
not.
instead of no.
This is
I
a
know.
room a bunch of psychopaths, bro.
They
What
didn't
the
intend
fuck?
to. Yeah, of course not. Like,
This is
people
Ireland.
just want to go ahead, whether it's misinformation or not.
Hold on. So we found out how to get the baby back, right? Either make it laugh or beat the shit out of it. But what about
Yeah,
what
so to
about
speak.
like the adult? Like how do we get the adult back?
Michael seemed to clearly be under the impression that he burned her specifically thinking that it would bring back Bridget.
Is there nothing
but
from the lore stating that how to bring the adult back? Is it just
Probably just gotta jump them.
what?
Beat the fuck out.
it could have? I mean, all the 10 people could have, you know.
Well, that's what he did. I don't think it worked for Michael. I don't think it worked.
Oh no.
I don't think it worked. You know, and it's part of what he testified was that he believed that her kidnapping happened when she first got sick, like that she was never sick to begin with. He believed that her beginning to be sick was actually the moment or the
That she got
time that she had
switched.
been swamped, right? And that her sickness was just the ailing Fae being that had been left in her place. So it's creepy because it's like on the one hand horrifying. This was absolutely not okay. But on the other hand, what could have been going on? Like, what could have caused this man to believe this so strongly? Some experts say he may have been suffering from a brief psychotic disorder, like a
That
brief
would have been my
psychotic
number one
episode.
ruling.
That's
Yeah.
that's very likely. But can you imagine if like what if he saw something about her that just
That
was
was
like
just different.
undeniable to
Yeah.
him?
Yeah.
It's creepy to think about.
You think, like, what if a changeling just lived a fulfilling life? Just, you know,
Living their best
yeah. They grew up, you know, they became like a software engineer. I don't know, maybe created Facebook. You get where I'm going with
Stop,
this
you're
shit.
blowing my mind right now. Stop.
You're making a conspiracy theory that does not need to be.
I have chills. What have you done? Oh
Look,
my god.
I mean, that's the only thing I'm thinking
We
of
look
right now. It's
weird,
like
guys.
imagine.
I just oh man. Okay. Wow. Well, you know, it's funny because you were saying all that, and in my head I was like, you know, it's kind of what I was thinking is like if I'm the parent of a child who I think is a changeling, like I'm not gonna hurt this child, like even if it's like a ailing Fae elder, like I guess this is what I take care of now. Like
Yeah,
I don't
homie's
know.
gonna
I'll
rule the
just
world.
take my lot.
I got
It's
a
all right. Maybe they're
question.
cool. Maybe they got good stories.
I got
What?
a question. Does the changelings, do they like target specific people?
I didn't find anything that indicated that. I could be wrong. Maybe there's something out there in the lore that says like what might attract this to happen to you. One thing I did notice was that there seemed to be like it seemed to sort of in say that it could happen due to malice, like maybe the Fae were doing it to be malicious. Sometimes it was for love for the human child, like they saw a human child they really wanted, or that they wanted to turn into a servant. There's generally a belief with this that
That
like the Fae use human servants. So that's probably not a great gig. Like, I don't know. I'd like to think it'd be fun, but it's probably
that's
not.
not. No,
Probably
that's
not.
one of the most
No.
Solid
like
gig.
horrifying ones.
They got a 401k and everything.
Obviously not, since they stealing children, bro.
Well,
How they
health
taking?
benefits.
Everything.
The kids are the health benefits.
The kids are the hell.
Oh, dude, this is blowing my mind right now. I still don't believe
know,
it.
There was one other little interesting thing about this that had to do with their house. So they lived in a labor house, which during that time and in that type of village, the labor house is like one of like it's like the best house in the village. And it was because her father was a laborer, and so that's why they qualified for it. Anyway, even though it was the best village in the house, like it turned out that like nobody minded that that was their house because there was like a fairy ring. Like there was like which is, if you don't know, is like a ring of like mushrooms or other type of growth that it's supposed to indicate Fae presence or Fae activity. So the rest of the village didn't even want the biggest house in the village, didn't even care that that was theirs, the Clary's house, because it already had like
It was tainted, basically.
Fae.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Ooh.
No.
changelings,
No. No, I don't.
lock your doors.
I'm telling you, bro, full swing. And whoever I think is different and not part of my circle. No, I don't know. Damn, that's crazy. Do you guys out there have any myths that you are curious about knowing, curious about talking, or have researched so that we can bring it up to the podcast? Let us know on the comments or any reviews, as you guys know that you can find us on YouTube or Spotify. ZV, I gotta say this one, you guys are gonna have me thinking while I'm sleeping. I'm gonna be on my phone. You know what people do usually? They look at their drywall and they're like, I can't sleep. So they're gonna look at their phone and start researching the most random shit. And they're gonna find themselves on the darkest side of YouTube. That's where
You're headed tonight.
That's where I'm
Or-
going tonight.
Or
Yep.
just look through all your pictures with groups of friends, see which one sticks out the most.
There you go.
Who doesn't look the same?
Who doesn't
You
look
fucking
right?
changeling.
Colony, I don't think you're smiling enough here. Let me fuck out of here.
Don't use that face.
Fight back, bitch, fight back.
No, absolutely no.
You guys already know that you can catch us anywhere on any social media every Thursday. We just want to say that we love you guys. We appreciate you guys for watching, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye!
Deuces.
I'm waiting and waiting around, yeah. Switch it up, take it, send me on a trip, fill it up. Got a new style, better way, ready, I'm ready, tryna be